So today my talk is about confidence unleashed, the art of self-advocacy. That is a hard word for me to say. So I may change the word to something else. So just be with me with that. I'm going to start out with introducing you to an American Zen Buddhist teacher. Her name is Roshi Joanne Halifax. She was born in America, obviously, in July 30th, 1942. When I see that, I always go, wow, she's older than me. So anyway, she is an anthropologist, a social activist, and renowned for her pioneer work in the end-of-life care, which is really pretty cool, and socially engaged Buddhism. So she's out there active in that. And she had this to say about the topic, being an advocate yourself. It says, all too often our so-called strength comes from fear, not love. Instead of having a strong back, many of us have a defended front, shielding a weak spine. I believe it comes when we can be truly transparent, seeing the world clearly and letting the world see into us. That's really, she's talking about authenticity, is becoming authentic and different in all situations. And I'll give you an example in a little bit. But she asked the question, where is your strength really coming from? Is it coming from love, or is it coming from being defensive? So you have to look at that, because, and sometimes it's in the spur of the moment, right? Sometimes it just is. Are you divinely aligned, or are you in fear? So what's motivating you? So I'm going to talk about some things that I talked individually. I talked to a lot of people about this, but this particular topic is I want you to ask yourself this question. When was the last time you truly stood up for yourself from a place of love and not your ego? Do you know when that was? Think about it. Do you know the feeling in your body when it's time for you to speak up? Yeah, your heart races, you feel this little tug. Sometimes you feel a relief. The thing is we come here, and if you're in this room today, you're in here because there's something that needs to be said in the world. And it's important that you own that. And that's a lot of what I'm going to talk about today. So, Ernst, well, you all know I work with AI, right? I play around with that. So I said to it, what does that mean? Yay, AI, okay. So I said, what does that really mean? And here's what it really means. It is the divine in you declaring I or you matter. That's what this is all about. You matter. What you have to say matters. And if we keep holding back and holding back and holding back, the thing that needs to be said doesn't get said, and it's not important. And I want to thank you for, just like they went out there and lowered the Spanish music for a while. It was like, that needs just to be said, because we're not competing here. We're sharing. We're sharing. And then the other part I want to just say is that we all have space at the table, no matter what you think. And sometimes it's hard sometimes to talk about these things, talk about life in general. So I'm going to give you a story. And this happens to me all the time. I don't like it, but it happens to me all the time. I'm always in these groups of meetings with other ministers. So sometimes I can feel, for me, it feels intimidating. Although that's talking to me about my worth, if that's what's going on. But anyway, a couple years ago, we were at a big meeting, and there must have been 40 or 50 ministers there. We're in a big, huge circle, and I'm trying to remember what the topic was. I made it up, but it's a topic that comes up all the time when we're in these meetings, is how could we improve science of mind in the world? Well, I have a lot of opinions about that. You know me, right? So as it went around the room, and I heard everybody's thoughts and their ideas, something happened to me in my body. And it was my heart started doing this. My throat starts getting a little tight. And I knew that I needed to say something. Of course I did, right? You know that. Now, years earlier, before I learned a little bit about myself, I would have come from an ego point of view. I would have said, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this, let's do that. You know, it's my ego talking. Instead, now, and I still practice this, and it's not an easy thing to do. When you feel that heart beating hard and you know you have to express, I now start thinking about what is it I need to say? What's really coming up for me? And it's not just my ego, but what's coming up to, how do I put this, to enlarge the conversation to everybody. So everybody is included in the comment, not just my ego. And so for this particular time, I spoke about marketing, I spoke about, collaboration, I spoke about we need to do this together. Of course, I wanted home office to do this too. And then you mentioned, that was easy. Well, no, it wasn't. Because there's resistance in those rooms. There's resistance in those places. And so all I can do is be an open vehicle for that, vessel for that. Instead of trying to push at them, just say the words that need to be said. And not judge myself. How many of you have been in conversations and you judge whatever you've said? All of us. Yay, I'm not alone. Yeah, every thought too. Yeah, sometimes. Well, today maybe we can change that. No judging in here. We don't do that one.
No, I don't judge other people. I judge my own.
You don't have to judge yourself. I'm going to release you today.
If I was a judge, I judge myself as a good person.
Good. That's what we want.
That's what I mean.
Good. Okay. So we're going to go a little bit deeper in this. And I want you to, we talk about this in here, it's the power of your belief and your thoughts and beliefs. Now, I want you to notice the two people in there. The young lady on the left kind of looks like she's having a conversation that's not very fun with her. And then the gentleman on the right, at least I thought he looks like he has a little smirk of happiness, like, oh yeah, I got that. But Ernest Holmes says, life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what he thinks into it. So this is typical religious science, science of mind, whatever you want to call it. This is typical. If we think bad thoughts, guess what happens? You tell me what happens. Bad things happen. If we think good thoughts, what happens? Good. All right, good. The thing is, we have to look at our dialogue. What is that inner dialogue coming at us? And if it's this, like this morning, I had something, I want to thank Victoria. I just had something I had to get off my chest. I had to get it off. And I said, Victor, I just need to say these things. They didn't have any power over me, but they had been ruminating in my mind and in my heart and making me feel kind of not good. I thought, I don't want this. So thank God, thank you, Victoria, for coming over and sitting with me and then praying with me, saying, that's not the truth. It's not the truth. And so we have to get that support. We can't sit around and just keep doing this. Anybody do that? Yeah. Well, I'm inviting you today to stop. Find somebody, even in the moment. I've had a couple things come up, and I've even called Reverend Sherry and said, hey, I need support. And she just went right to it. Prayed with the truth. But anyway, let's get back to this mirror. How many people have done mirror work? Anybody done it?
What is that?
Mirror work. See that they're sitting in front of the mirror right there? So mirror work is, and I'll just give you what some of the benefits of this are. And I bring this up because sometimes you can't find anybody but yourself, right? So you have to talk to yourself. Now that's the first time I ever did that, and I never told anybody because I thought I was crazy. I thought, oh, this isn't good, Suzette. You're convincing yourself to do something. But here's some of the benefits of it. The mirror often symbolizes a journey of understanding oneself. This is
Quick add-on. Have you ever taken a Sharpie to the mirror or like a marker?
no, I haven't. I've done lipstick, but that's all.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move on.
Sorry about that.
That's okay, hon. It's learning to understand ourselves. Like one time I was dating somebody and I kept going down that road and I finally said, don't go down the road. I had to look myself in the eye and say, don't go down the road. It's not healthy for you. Another one, identify who we are, how we perceive ourselves, versus how other people perceive you. How many people made faces in a mirror? Oh, yeah. Because you don't know you look like that. You know, you go, ugh. So how do people perceive you? So now you can play with that. So you can have a little fun there. And I say these things in truth because you're powerful. If you don't know how you are powerful, I want you to start learning that. You're powerful. Next one is transformation and growth. Looking into a mirror can represent moments of change where we assess our past and envision our future self. So for me, that when I kept going down the wrong road, and where I lived at the time, I knew there was another street I could go down. So I started visioning the next street that I would go down instead of going to the same way every time and feeling ugly by the time I got to the end. I would go to the left. And then the last one is many traditions mirrors are seen as a gateway to deeper truth, encourage individuals to look beyond the surface, connect with their inner being. So I was just thinking, one of the things that is very beneficial, let's say you have a presentation to make, is make it to the mirror. So you can see who you are, you can see how your face is, you can understand yourself. I practice my talk all the time before I ever get here, and I always say the wrong thing. So it's okay. It's like pulling the right stuff out of you at the right time is what this is all about. So I just want you to know that every day, and it doesn't have, it could be work. How many people are still working? A few of you? How many people have customers or whatever? You have to know how to talk with them and to see them and go, here's what I want to say. How many people got into a fight this week or an argument or a tit for tat? Oh, come on, you don't have to raise your hand. The point I'm trying to say is to think about those things. How do I come across? How do I work through this? Let me give you the opposite. Not the opposite, but some more things to remember. Look at these people. They're happy. And it's to remember that the power of God is within you. This is a divine authority which should be recognized and which should inspire every thought that you have, every act and every purpose. Now, I'm going to prove this to you. So Emma, is going to hand out, we're going to do a short exercise today. And yeah, could you hand these out for them? And I want you and make sure I get one of those, please. As I talk, let me talk about this while we're doing this. I want you to know the truth about your being, who you are. Thank you. Thank you. Sure. I got one, thanks. I want you to go to this one. It says self-discovery. And if you need a pen, please raise your hand, and we'll bring it. We'll bring one to you. Need a pen? We have, yeah, there should be one in front of you or next to you. He's got one. Now, this is a gel pen, so everybody take the tips and open it up, take the tips and pull off the tip. Otherwise, it will not write and you'll think it doesn't work. Okay? So, before you do anything, I want look at me up here. What this exercise is about you learning who you already are. So, I want you to write down 3 people that you admire in your life right now. 3 people. Could be your husband, could be your friends, could be somebody not in your immediate family. Just quickly write down 3 people that you just names. Maybe just a first name, so it's done real easy. For those online, you can do the same thing. This is what they're doing. So write down 3 people that you admire. Once you've done that, go to the next question. It says, what values do they possess? And what did they do to demonstrate that value? Now, that may be a lot to write, but you'll know. Just put a word, love, whatever it comes to mind about that person. Just something that they did. What did they do to make you admire them? When you're done, just kind of look up at me. So I know you're done. Okay. Emma's getting comfy. Then the next question is, write down 2 people you admire that are not a part of your life or have passed away. So this could be somebody you admire that's, I don't know, an actor, whatever. Like I would have put my grandmother. And then once you've done that, then what values did they possess and what did they do to demonstrate that value? So why do you admire them? It's so simple. When you're done, just look at me so I know who's done. Almost there? Okay. Now here's the really hard part. I want you to go back and circle the values that you admire. Just circle the values, the things that made you admire them. Just circle them. Should have a lot of circles there. Yeah. So now, what do you think the value of me having you circle those values is?
To remind us that they're within ourselves.
You're right. Exactly. You would not see that value or that why you admired them if it wasn't already inside you. Which means own that. You are that. And that's so cool to know that you are already there. You don't have to go out somewhere and get it. It's already inside you. I just love that. I just love being able to remind ourselves, oh, yeah, that's me. It's me.
Making chicken, mom's in the hands.
Yeah. So the last point I want to make, and this isn't, the last point I want to make is how we align through the universal laws of self-efficacy. How do we align with those things? I know in my own life, sometimes I don't feel like I'm in alignment, but I have to kind of shift myself and say, wait a minute, there's a law that provides me the permission to release something that just no longer serves me, or to believe something better about myself. But sometimes we have to be reminded of that. Ernest Holmes says this, he says, there's a power in the universe and we can use it. We've all heard that statement. Do we believe it? Good, okay. But if we don't, put that mantra or that quote up so that it reminds you that that power is in the universe and it moves through you. So, I'm going to give you, in fact, on the other side of this page, are those laws. And I'm not going to go into them deeply, but I want us to remember, it's kind of like the qualities of God that we have on the wall. It's so simple that it seems complicated. But when you see something that's so beautiful and you go, oh, that's spirit moving in the world. That's God saying, yes, this is for you to take. But we'll go through these 12 universal laws, which are, if you want to turn your page over, we'll read it together. I'm not going to read every single one, but I will make mention of some things. The law of divine oneness. Now, they spell divine. I would have gone divine, D-I-V-I-N-E. But the key there is we're just all connected. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, we're all connected. So when we throw that pebble into that pond, it ripples out. What we say has power. And so having the courage and the willingness to say what's good for all is very, very powerful. It says the law of vibration. Everything is constantly moving. There's nothing that's standing still, even me. In fact, I watched myself on replay, and I thought, you need to settle down, Suzette. You're walking too much. So but we're all in motion. Everything's changing, and it's a constant. And if you have trouble with change, just know it's time to know that that's just part of life, and it's okay. But I want to say this because I know some people go through change and they say, well, I'm just waiting for the next shoe to drop. And that's not true at all. That's what we've put in our head that's going to happen. The truth is that change is constant, and then we get to choose how we want that to look. All right? Law of attraction, we're all pretty much know what that one is. And as they say, to put it simply, focus on the things you want and not the things you do not want. Just focus on what you want. End of story. Move in that direction. Now, one of the things about the law of attraction that I think is really important is that as we are doing our thing, we're moving in the direction that, let's just take all the stuff we're doing here, all right? Is that part of this process of improving our cameras? We now have 2 cameras up there, which we're working on to make them both work. But we have a TV. I want you to see how this works. When you finally get to see how the full picture works, but you got to see little pieces as you go along. So the TV was the biggest one, right? Because before we were on the little TV and they were this big and I could barely see them. Now I really get to see who they are. And yeah, see, thumbs up. And I get to see their names so I can actually speak with them. One of the visions that I have is to bring other ministers in this way from other churches. I have some friends in Canada that I want to bring in. So you can realize that it's a bigger picture than just one little dot, all right? So that's the law of attraction and moving into that particular goal. Law of inspired actions. This is listening to your intuition. How many people listen to their intuition? Okay, how many people live their intuition? Yeah. Most of the time. I would like you for the next week to live your intuition. So if it says something, go do it. And come back and let me know if it ever failed you. It will not fail you. It will guide you in the right place. And that's what I want you to understand. If you don't trust your intuition, then you're going to be going like this, and the universe is going to say, okay, we're going to go that way too. It's going to move around that way. All right. Law of perpetual transmutation of energy. That's just talking about low and high vibrations. If you're in a downward, like I didn't feel very good this morning, I went to Victoria. I said, let me get this out. We prayed over it. I feel much better. It's bringing my vibration up. So I could be here with you opposed to back there with whatever I was thinking about. Yay. Okay. Law of cause and effect. I love this one. This is one of my favorite. Because the thing about the law of cause and effect is it takes all the responsibility off of me if I'm thinking about somebody else that I want to get to. Do you understand? If I have we'll say something happened to me. I hate giving you all my stories, but something happened to me years ago. I lost everything, blah, 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 blah. And for a long time, I was like, they're the person that did it to me. I'm going to blame them. And then one day I woke up and I said, I don't have to do any of this anymore because it's called karma. When someone does bad to you, karma's going to come back and got your back. You know, you don't have to do anything. They have to live their own life, and they will live that. I'll have to talk to you later about that. Okay?
Sum it up as vengeance is the Lord's.
Vengeance is the what?
The Lord's.
The Lord's. Okay, sure. That's their job to do it. It's job to do it. Nothing I got to do. The law of compensation, and what that means is obvious. You know, the universe wants to reward you for the work that you do. And the more you believe in yourself, the more the universe will then give you more. And if you're a good steward, this is the key, if you're a good steward of those rewards, Spirit says, oh, you know how to handle money, I'm going to give you more. Or if you're a good steward or not a good steward and says, oh, well, here it is, I'm going to take it away. It works both ways. So be a good steward of your money, then more will come. It's just automatic. The law of relativity, which is, yes. Yeah, no situation is good or bad until it's up for comparison. It says, best to keep your perspectives neutral and learn to be grateful without having to need to compare. Stay neutral. There was a woman I just read last night, 115 years old. She's now the oldest living person. And what she said was so cute. She says, I just don't fight with anybody. I just stay neutral. I stay neutral so it doesn't get into my body. So think about that. I just stay neutral. The law of polarity, which is there are always opposites. There's going to always be an opposite thought of your thought. That doesn't mean we fight it. It means we collaborate. We talk about it. We work together on it. And then the law of rhythm, which is a never-ending cycle, it says. So embrace every moment and remember not to stretch natural order of things. So I just think of the power of now. Stay in the moment. And if you're constantly moving forward into some place you don't know where you're going to go, think of it as maybe a vision. It reminds me of people who are athletes. And they have the vision of the end of the goal. They're runners. Their vision is out there. They haven't gotten there yet, but their vision is there. So they just learn to move their body with the rhythm of what's going on around them and keeping their eye on the vision instead of being worried about the vision. They just keep moving forward. That's the most thing. And the law of gender, which is there is male and female energy. And to cultivate both in your body, in your life. There's nothing wrong with that. Just cultivate all of you. So, my talk is really short today. I can't believe it. A lot of stuff in it. Just not. Yeah. So I'm going to give you some homework for next week. If you want to write this down, you can. Number 1 is I want you to affirm this week, I am a divine expression of clarity and strength. I will. I am a divine expression of clarity and strength. Number 2, I want you to act. I want you to speak up in one area of your life where you've held back. And so you have time to think about that. What has held you back? Who can you talk to about it? And maybe you don't have to talk to that person, but you can talk to somebody else about it so that you're moving yourself forward. But one area, because that stretches us. That stretches our uncomfortableness feeling. It makes us say, oh, I do have something to say about that. And then the last one is align, which it means either meditate or do an affirmative prayer. that speaks to, here's the actions I'm taking, and know that the divine is there to support you through it, that you're never alone, ever, never. See, being an advocate for yourself is not just brave, it's holy, it's important. One of the things that we do here a lot is I really emphasize authenticity and non-judgment. And the reason why is that opens up the door for everybody to say what needs to be said. And even if I may not, let's say, like the idea, I just file it because somewhere, someplace, that's going to come up and it may be important. And everybody has a voice. And so that encourages voices, especially in classes. I love doing this in classes because I want to hear what it is we're working on and go deeper into it, because the more we go deeper into it, the more we heal. The more that gets released, the more we realize that we're not alone. Those are critical things. So I'm going to close with an affirmation, but instead of you guys doing it, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes, and then I'm going to repeat it 3 times, and then I will do a prayer at the end, and we'll have Victoria and Sylvia back up. So let's just all take a deep breath in. Letting that out. A lot to talk about. I am one with the infinite. I advocate for myself with courage, clarity, and divine strength. My voice matters, and it is a blessing to the world. I am one with the infinite. I advocate for myself with courage, clarity, and divine strength. My voice matters, and it is a blessing to the world. I am one with the infinite. I advocate for myself with courage, clarity, and divine strength. My voice matters, and it is a blessing to the world. And so I know today, as we gather together, we acknowledge everyone that's here to hear this message. Those that are online, those that will hear this message later on. To know that Spirit moves through them, in them, and as them in every situation. There's no time where one is alone. And so I claim for all of us today that we are all one with this infinite presence, that it moves through us in different situations, and that we can trust that. We can say yes to the ideas and the thoughts that are coming forward that need to be expressed. And we gather our thoughts and then speak them for the wholeness of the world, for everyone that we touch, we see, we feel, we are. And we know that truth, and we give thanks for that truth. Because we are change makers, change makers in the world to do more good. And for that, I am just grateful. I'm grateful for all that came to hear and those that will come later to hear this simple message that what we say matters. And for that, I give great thanks to the divine that moves through each of us. And I release these words into the infinite law of love, of purpose, of courage, and into the law of mind, knowing it is done right here, right now. And join me in saying, and so it is. Amen. Thank you very much.